So my next guest, we met, I think around 15 years ago. She spent a lot of time in the marketing world. Brilliant female entrepreneur who just has a great marketing message, mind, and she's also been in the publishing business. Her core business has been Beverly Hills Publishing. She works with founder brands.
We are truly living in a new frontier. They can bring their wisdom, their experience, their passion, and this truly unlocks the potential of capital. You know, capital, yes, can change a business, but it changes lives. What would happen if more individuals truly unlocked their gifts, their talent? Humanity's biggest problems could be solved by entrepreneurs being incentivized and connecting capital to the visionaries who can solve the problems. What is my purpose? What is my greatest contribution? So I'm launching a new business called Next Edge Alliance, and it is an AI technology that brings investors to entrepreneurs. We are unlocking the true potential of capital, and we're creating a new capital market. So it's a very exciting day today because today is the first day that I'm publicly speaking about this new venture. And to be launching it on such a prestigious stage surrounded by founders, business owners, people who are wanting to be on the cutting edge of AI technology and where marketing and business growth all combine. This is why we are here at the AI Accelerator, and I can't wait to share my vision with the world.
So let's bring to the stage my friend and one of my favorite collaborators, Andrea Albright.
And I used my rent money to buy Traffic Geyser.
Kidding. I love you even more.
I know. It's a surreal experience to be on your stage, Mike. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun. So for anyone who doesn't know what Next Edge Alliance is, what the big vision is, what you and your investors have been putting together, why don't you just tell us what it is beyond the video?
Yes, well, we recognize that there is a real problem with investors getting capital directly to entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are constantly looking for capital, but the right kind of capital, the right capital at the right time. And investors, ironically, have more capital than they can deploy. So we saw an opportunity to bring capital directly to entrepreneurs.
All right. So one of the big things that happened, it was a breakthrough moment for all of us when we started chatting, and what's so beautiful is, like I said, you play yes and having your primary investor play yes and together, who really understands this market. He's deployed over 31 billion over the past 30 years, raised over 11 billion himself. He's seen lots and lots of deals, had high teens in terms of successes. And we started talking about AI and software. And I'm putting up the screen right now. Talk about the day when we started playing and prototyping and we had the aha experience.
Yes, well, we realized that after investing over $31 billion of capital and raising over $11 billion, you start to see what makes a deal work and what makes a deal fail. And we recognize that there are really three things. Number one, the entrepreneur can't get their message out. Number two, teams can't execute. And then number three, the poor capitalization. And so what was so exciting about collaborating with you is that we realized we had a network and an alliance where we have access to over $1 billion of capital that's eagerly ready to be deployed. But we have to get the founders ready to access that capital and to attract the capital. And when we partnered with you, you brought in the awareness of what could be possible if we put AI to create better matching, better due diligence, and also prepare the entrepreneur for receiving the capital. And so to build it this quickly and effectively, our investors are like, I can't wait to use this tool because it's going to be better at investing than I've been in my entire career.
Okay, so that leads us to part of the software's purpose is to connect active impact investors. That's this phrase that you've come up with and given it new meaning. Entrepreneurs, the capital, and do it in a lot less time. So just talk about the friction that this reduces and also how it incorporates blockchain.
Yes, well, investors, again, are so frustrated with the old process of having to either put your money in a fund or it is always locked up with middlemen. And so if we could truly decentralize capital, meaning put it on the blockchain and connect investors directly to entrepreneurs, how much more capital could be deployed? How many more businesses could be developed? How many more entrepreneurs would actually stay in business instead of the 95% of businesses that fail? And so this kind of decentralization has never happened before. Now that we have AI, the blockchain, and automation, we are truly living in a new frontier.
Okay. And then talk a little bit about the matchmaking, because again, this is something that I didn't grok it until we were in this conversation of how many exceptionally talented investors that you have at your fingertips who have actively invested tens of millions to hundreds of millions. And oftentimes they don't have their capabilities working for them inside of their investments. So just talk about the psychology of that and how, again, this is a very different psychology and a community also.
Yes, that's why we call it an alliance, is because we are truly bringing the skills and capabilities of our investors together. And we believe that investors have so much more to give than just capital. They can bring their wisdom, their experience, their passion. And this truly unlocks the potential of capital. Because when you have an investor who is now truly invested in the entrepreneur succeeding, that matching is what can create a holistic synergy, exponentially more value, and it also gives purpose and meaning to the investor. Because there are many people who have reached a level of success financially, and they are wondering, is this it? You know, they're lacking that fulfillment and purpose, and being able to use capital to what we now call the active impact investing. This gives excitement and meaning and purpose in a way that we've never seen. And I actually have some exciting news for you. I haven't told you yet.
No? All right.
So we aren't even officially launched yet. You know, we are speaking about this today, and because of this event. So we have our pitch deck. We are going out to a small group of founders to get this first raise, and we've already brought in 1.6 million.
Exceptional. Well done. Nice.
Thank you.
You are amazing. And your team is too. I mean, it really took a group of visionaries. And I'll tell you this, when we were prototyping the software, Andrea brought in her primary investor and also a super connector who's responsible for bringing a bunch of deals in. And he watched the demo and in real time started saying, oh, wow, this is so great. When can I start using it? And does it have the capability to screen the entrepreneurs and do video interviews? And we're like, yeah, so start adjusting the code in real time. And he started updating and upgrading the code with us in real time, took active participation. He's like, I'm in. And I can think of this guy who's going to want to get in on this deal, and this guy. So I just want to put this in your head. When you create this community of your first customers being able to create with you, they get invested with you really, really quickly. Congratulations.
Thank
that
you
was
so much.
exceptional.
Thank you.
Now, there's another problem with traditional private equity. Raise your hand if you've invested in stuff and lost a bunch of money, like in VC and angel deals and yuck, 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 yuck. She's looking at me with that face, okay? Could have had a lot more real estate. And it's my fault, okay? I am a delusional optimist. And my friends are delusional optimists too. But in the traditional capital market, there's a fund that you put money into, or you make a commitment to the fund. And then you have capital calls, and you've got to put in money, and you don't even know where your money is going to go at first. They just say, hey, this is in general what we're going to do. So your capital is committed and then wrapped up for, it could be 3 years to God knows, let's call it forever. And there's a lot of regulation, and you lose control, and you're also paying a premium on that money, and then on the back end as well. The big vision behind the investors and you is that model's broken, we want to disrupt it. How does your model differ? Because you have a different vehicle, a different mechanism for how and where you put the money.
Yes, this is what we mean by entrepreneurs and investors are disenfranchised. They are frustrated and they're not connecting and able to truly create the maximum amount of value. And so by bringing the entrepreneur and the investor together and actually having AI to match based on qualifications, capabilities, and also what the entrepreneur is looking for. You know, the investor is pitching to the entrepreneur. Does the entrepreneur want to take that capital? Under what terms and conditions? And is this the best investor who's going to actually help their vision grow? And so when you can align visionaries with investors, we have so much more potential of what capital really can be. You know, capital, yes, can change a business, but it changes lives. It gives health and opportunity and prosperity and education and abundance. So we are very excited about what would it mean to truly live in a world where the potential of capital is realized.
Okay, next one. You've got a secret weapon that you bring to the mix, which is Beverly Hills Publishing. You've been working with and doing founder brands for quite some time. So part of her business model is working with the entrepreneurs themselves, being able to amplify their message, getting them publicity, publishing them. And your primary investor, one of the main creatives behind this, talked about one of his biggest frustrations, and that of all private equity, is sometimes you go through the due diligence process, the proper due diligence process, and you think everything's buttoned up and it takes months and months and months. You stroke the check, you put your investors' money in here, there's big, deep relationships, and there are reputations at stake, only to find out that that founder might be a little cuckoo, okay, and things can fall apart. And because part of your job is to go deep with that founder, learn things that normally they might not share doing a typical due diligence, you get to learn and know a lot more. So talk a little bit about this combination of the active impact investor, the fact that there's a deep relationship, you've disintermediated, and you amplify the relationship. So I know I kind of set this up, but it's complicated. Great. It sometimes takes a long time to communicate. Talk about that, because that's, again, part of your unique special sauce.
Well, one of the problems we see is that entrepreneurs can't get their message out. They can't build a brand which differentiates them from everybody else in the competition. And so what we do at Beverly Hills Publishing is we publish the book, we launch the marketing, we turn on a high-level PR campaign that gets them in top-tier publicity. And it was actually an accidental discovery when my authors kept attracting capital, and I realized, wow, these books and this strategy is the best capital attraction magnet, because investors want to know, beyond just the business model, beyond just the financial models or the projections, but who is the founder? Who is the visionary? What have they been through? What are their stories? What are their trials and tribulations? And what obstacles and setbacks have they overcome? Because as we all know, that building a business, launching a business, there's no such thing as no setbacks or obstacles, but what is the character of the entrepreneur? And so we build the book with a vision of how are we going to market to the audience, market to PR, and also market to investors to attract capital. And that's why this synergistic effect of bringing in Beverly Hills Publishing to build the founder brand, which attracts capital, now the investors have that qualification, they have the awareness, the due diligence. They also have that partnership with Beverly Hills Publishing because we go really, really deep into the story.
That's great. Founders with platforms de-risk the investment.
Yes.
Right? And that, I think, is something that, interestingly, private equity historically may or may not be, they just don't think that way because of the nature of the business model. I wasn't aware of that going into this. It just didn't dawn on me. All right, so I'd like to ask if there's any questions about this model that either someone on Zoom, someone in the audience has about how it's different. We've got Larry Benet over here. Who else has some questions? Get ready. Anything about the business model, the framework, using AI, being able to do due diligence significantly faster, taking things from what normally might take 9 months to weeks to be able to deploy the capital, and the fact that it's disintermediating. So, Larry Benet, go for it.
Yeah, so I've dealt a lot in this space, very exciting.
Thank you.
I'm just curious if you can talk to it at all on the due diligence aspect, because that is one of the critical factors of a successful deal, backing the right people. Like I share with you privately on a deal that I did with 20 million, that if I could have found better due diligence insights, probably wouldn't have done the deal. So I was just curious if you can share what the tools are or how you're going to change the game on the due diligence side.
Yes, I love this question because this is the power of the alliance. And we are only bringing in highly sophisticated investors, which they themselves have deployed billions of dollars. And so we are accessing the power of the alliance for discriminating before the entrepreneur is even allowed into the alliance. And then also, we are very excited about deploying the AI because the AI is going to get smarter and smarter over time. We are specifically training it versus an open AI system. It's a closed AI system. So we will know who is contributing to training it and making sure that it always goes through someone with a process that, like to deploy $31 billion of capital, and our investor has a very high return in the high teens on average, and is sometimes as much as 60% ROI. So it's like, what makes the difference in that investing versus people, who don't have that kind of expertise? There is a deep intuition, but it's also this part of the passion. Somebody writing a check to an entrepreneur who they're not passionate about that industry, that capital isn't going to fully realize its highest potential. And so we are truly creating a new capital market because we are allowing the investor to invest with their expertise and knowledge as well as their capital.
There's something else that I wanted to tie in here in case someone else has a question, but in working with your team, your primary investor in particular, he's very emotional about this business. He's very emotional about the purpose and the reason behind this. Can you just tap into some of the heart beyond the money? Because it's easy to just sit here and talk capital, 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 but there's a higher purpose, a higher calling that we haven't talked about yet, that does create tears when we're in the room creating together.
I was going to say, are you going to make me cry?
Maybe.
Yeah. So I've been passionate about entrepreneurship. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. And everything that takes, the risk, your sacrifices with your family life, even your health, your relationships, and investors who truly believe that this freedom is what can unlock the true power of the individual. And so instead of us relying on government or institutions or what we would call groupthink, what would happen if more individuals truly unlocked their gifts, their talent? We have a strong belief that this could be a place where more people solve problems. Humanity's biggest problems could be solved by entrepreneurs being incentivized and connecting capital to the visionaries who can solve the problems. And this is, it's passion, it's emotion, and we also see that humanity is on a dawn of a new age where a lot of this AI is taking away jobs. And if these jobs are just processing, meaning moving something from A to B, then an AI could come in and do it 10 times, 100 times faster. So humanity is either going to go into a very, very dark time because all these jobs are now not going to be available. But it could also be the dawn of a new awakening where each individual gets to really question, why am I here? What is my purpose? What is my greatest contribution? And so that's why we are very excited and passionate about what this revolution is bringing.
Yeah. What I heard over and over again is there's more capital available than there are entrepreneurs prepared to receive that capital. There's a training opportunity here. There's millions of them. This disintermediates. It speeds the time they can take all this money, give it to people. There's a training opportunity, a deployment opportunity, and an amplification opportunity. So we spend more time in creative contribution and less in process. And who likes bureaucracy anyway? So we've got a couple quick questions on Zoom. Let's take, we got Court Marshall, Matthew, or Blake. Pick one, guys. Court.
I'm here. That tomahawk steak arrived, so my question's I'm ready to chow on that. Anyways, hey, my question is, when an organization has really moved forward and created pre-licensing agreements with partners, how much does that end up, how much weight does that carry with you on de-risking the investment?
That's interesting. So licensing to others, well, it's all about how you protect your IP, right? And I know that you've already shared your model around your IP when it is built correctly, published correctly, protected correctly. That's going to exponentially grow the valuation of the company because you are proving that you are a thought leader. You are evolving your industry and other people want to learn your ideas and apply them to their businesses. So I see it, I mean, of course, you'd have to look at the structure of those licensing deals, but if you've got other people who are licensing your knowledge, that is proof that you are a thought leader, visionary, and your ideas are now becoming exponentially valuable assets instead of you just having to produce products and services within your own organization. Your IP is the exponential multiplier.
Very good. We've got time for one more.
Oh, we got to get the...
Since you're building why it matters,
There we go.
I'd be curious to learn more about how to invest in you as a founder, because I will say oftentimes I find myself more interested in a business when there's a compelling why and a founder that's believable, and I think your story really resonates.
Pre-launch, we weren't even going to launch this publicly yet, but because of this opportunity with Mike and sharing what we're creating, we definitely will have a website and content and education. Right now, you can contact me at andrea@nextedgealliance.com. And we are starting a movement. We want to bring together visionary founders and investors. And thank you, that was an amazing compliment. I am deeply passionate about entrepreneurship and the story. And I've never found any entrepreneur who creates something extraordinary who doesn't have an extraordinary story to tell as well. So that point, exactly what we're talking about.
It's a great way to top it off. You got a built-in call to action opportunity.
Amazing.
All right, so let's give Andrea Albright a big round of applause.
Thank you.
Well done. Well, here, let's bow. Yay! One, two, three, say AI! AI! All right, and then finally,
Let's have a lot of fun. I want you guys throw your arms up in the air, make it sound like it's the best thing you've ever done. 1, 2, 3, woo! Yeah!